Okay. I feel like I have to preface this by saying that I don't condone what Will Smith did. I don't think he should have gotten up there and slapped Chris Rock. But not condoning something that someone did doesn't mean you have to immediately vilify them. You can even think that it's not that big of a deal. The difference between one extreme and the other is what we call nuance. So now, unless you've been living under a rock, a Chris Rock, boo. Unless you've been living under a rock, then you'll know about what happened at the Oscars a few days ago. But if you don't, then let me recap. You see, a few days ago, the Oscars happened. Did you know the Oscars were happening? Neither did I. But they did. And somewhere before or maybe after Megan Thee Stallion dropping a verse in Encanto, Chris Rock got on stage to present an award for a documentary. And in typical Chris Rock fashion, he decided to tell some jokes, much at the expense of the audience. Most of these were pretty tame jokes with the audience doing their job of laughing along until he got to Jada Pinkett Smith. You see, unbeknownst to Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett Smith suffered from alopecia, which is hair loss that's caused by various things. So thinking that she just shaved her head because she likes it, he decided to make a joke, a G.I. Jane 2 joke. He said, "I can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2. Now, the joke wasn't really that funny because G.I. Jane is like 20 years old at this point, probably over 20 years old. I don't even know. But Jada did not like the joke. But it's kind of curious because if you look, you'll see that Will Smith was maybe laughing at the joke, or maybe he was laughing at the joke before. But whatever happened between them showing Jada and Will on camera and then cutting back to Chris, Will got very upset. So maybe Will looked over and saw that Jada didn't quite like the joke, and then he got very perturbed and decided to walk up on stage and slap Chris Rock. Chris Rock looked dazed and confused, didn't know what was going on. Will Smith went back to his chair and decided to yell out some explicitives, and we all know the story. During the commercial break, Will Smith was actually consoled by Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry amongst some of the actors that were there. And then he went on to even win an award for Best Actor for the movie King Richard. And now that you're all caught up, this is where things start to get wild, because as soon as social media got wind of what was going on, because mind you, nobody was actually watching the Oscars, it had to be posted on Twitter and Facebook for people to know what happened. As soon as people started seeing what was going on, they started losing their minds collectively. People were saying Will Smith was a wild, vicious animal, a brute, a thug. They were saying, what if he had killed Chris Rock? People were making these bizarre scenarios saying that what if it was Betty White up there and he hit her and Betty White fell over and Betty White died. It was completely nuts, and much of this narrative is still happening to this day, days later. Some people are even going as far as saying that they are fearing for their own lives, that they are afraid to walk around because Will Smith or maybe somebody is going to attack them. Now, if you don't believe me, take a look at these wonderful tweets. This person says, "I keep waiting to see he has been arrested, if he has been arrested. I get it that Chris Rock didn't press charges, but I'm worried about my safety at this point. Can Californians go around slapping people now? Effing purge for real." Another person says, "I'm a fan, but you dismissing how disturbing the entire event was, from the stunning slap to the joy robbing to the blaming acceptance speech, is also not okay. For victims of abuse, it was triggering. Had my first nightmare in decades. But I also don't minimize other trauma." You have national media outlets calling him a thug, people saying that they're gonna boycott and not watch any of his movies again. People saying he needs to give his Oscar back, people saying he's an abuser. And now you have other celebrities coming out saying that they are traumatized by the events that took place. They are disgusted. Jim Carrey calling everyone at the Oscars spineless. But I'm here to say that it's not really that big of a deal. You see, what all these responses are lacking is nuance, that word we mentioned earlier, because you cannot agree with something that someone did and not immediately just want to throw them to the wayside, because guess what? We are all humans, and humans have emotions, and humans sometimes do things wrong. I have done things that I regret in my life, and I'm pretty sure you watching this video have probably done things that you regret as well. We as people are allowed to mess up sometimes. The key factor is learning from those mistakes and moving on from them. Will Smith, again, it was pretty dumb what he did, but he got up there, he apologized to the Academy, he apologized to everyone in attendance, And also later on, maybe a couple days later, he apologized again, but also apologized to Chris Rock as well. Now, whether or not you believe his apologies were sincere, it doesn't really matter, because the only person that was actually affected by this is Chris Rock. Yes, it's Chris Rock. Chris Rock is the person that decides whether or not he accepts Will Smith's apology. And now I know everyone wants to make themselves the main character of every single story that happens, but you are not the main character of this story. So it really doesn't matter how you feel about what Will Smith did. He did not personally get on stage and slap you. So these people who are saying they are traumatized and what about the children and they fear for their safety, they have main character syndrome, because this is not about them. This is about two grown men who had a little bit of a disagreement and things played out badly. We live in a real world where things don't always work out perfectly, and that's what real life is. No one is perfect. People say the wrong things and do the wrong things all the time. And let's be honest, okay? Will Smith has been the golden poster boy of Hollywood for decades now. He is literally one of the most unblemished people in Hollywood. So for him to make this one mistake, now I know in some people's eyes it's a big mistake, but for him to make this one mistake and then people immediately call him a thug, a brute, violent abuser for making this one mistake, which he nearly 30 minutes later apologized for, it's kind of wild to me, and it makes me think a little bit. And then you have people like Alec Baldwin, who literally not too long ago murdered someone, deciding that he should give input on this situation, saying that it was like the Jerry Springer show in defending Chris Rock. Now, I know what Alec did was an accident, but how do you think the family of the victim he murdered feels that Alec decides to talk about this minor incident as if it's this world-breaking, shattering event? And that's just the worst thing that Alec Baldwin has done, an accident. But I don't see people clamoring to call him a vicious, brutal thug with all his incidents in the past. Honestly though, this seems to be a recurring theme, especially with black male celebrities. One event that people continue to bring up is when Kanye West got on stage with Taylor Swift. Now, I'm not gonna rehash what happened, but I wanna fast forward to some years later where Kanye West invited Taylor Swift out to dinner and he apologized to her regarding what happened, and they actually became friends. They set their differences aside and became friends. That is until a couple years later where she got mad about a song he made, but that's besides the point. He apologized, she accepted the apology, and they were friends. People still bring up Kanye West getting on stage with Taylor Swift to this day. It's very easy to hate a person when you continuously bring up something that they have moved past. Now, I can make an entire video about Kanye West, and I think I am going to, but the point I'm making is that even if Chris Rock accepts Will Smith's apology, you are still gonna have people who are gonna vilify Will Smith for decades to come, because these people want to make the situation about them. Whereas the people who are actually involved in the situation, if they come together and hash out their differences and become friends and move on with their lives, people are still gonna say, you know what, Will Smith got on that stage and slapped Chris Rock. What a brute, what a thug. I'm never watching his movies again. And I'm not sure what sheltered lives these people live, but it was literally just a slap. Someone said something nasty about someone else's wife, that person got up and slapped them. Should he have done it again? No, but it is what it is. I've seen literally worse growing up in the ghetto, okay? If that's the worst thing that you have ever seen or experienced, then I really don't know what to say. So again, for the third time, not condoning it, but everyone just kind of needs to move on and let Chris Rock process what's going on. Let Chris Rock decide if he wants to accept Will Smith's apology. Let Chris Rock decide if he wants to meet with Will Smith and have a little one-on-one chat with them and kind of figure out what the heck is going on. Let Will Smith get some help if he needs to unload some trauma that he has, because doing something like that is just not normal, right? He probably has some things going on. Let them work it out. It's not about you. It's really not. And everyone needs to stop falling for the social media and the media hot takes, because guess what? They want you to click on their websites. They want you to share their articles, click that like button, retweet. They want engagement. So they're going to put out all these super fluff hot takes comparing Will Smith to OJ Simpson. They're going to put out all this just to get people to engage and build up their traffic. And people are falling for it. They fall for it all the time. And one last thing I want to say about this topic. I bet a lot of people that are giving Will Smith a hard time probably gave a lot of nuance to Kyle Rittenhouse for murdering 2 people. Just tossing that out there. Probably some of those same people. Maybe. But anyway, guys, this was a different kind of video for me. I decided I wanted to kind of get into commentary type videos. I know I share a lot of my thoughts on Twitch, but I want to kind of put them in video format and see how you like it. If you do like it, let me know in the comments. If you disagree or agree with the things I've said in the video, let me know in the comments as well, because, you know, we can have a discussion regarding, you know, these kind of topics. One last thought that I had, I would love to see a Venn diagram of people who support going to war and people who thought Will Smith's slap was the most offensive thing ever. I'll see you in the next video.